I'm Joshua Hanlon here at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago and the new Brick by Brick exhibit, and Adam Reed Tucker has joined me to talk about his Roman Colosseum build.
Yep, this is the Roman Colosseum, and a lot of people have done this before. A good friend of mine, Ryan McNaught, has actually done an amazing version, and I wanted to try and make sure that my version was different. This is actually the second one I've done. I actually did one for a film company in California a year ago for a movie that it was going to be a backdrop. So I had a little experience putting together the Colosseum. I improved this one, and coincidentally, I have to tell you, that first one, I find out what they do with Hollywood props now. Instead of throwing them out, they throw them on eBay and see if they have any bites. So a friend of mine forwarded me a link. My old Colosseum was on eBay for a buy it now for $1,500, and I was tempted to buy it back, knowing how much brick I had in it. But they ended up gluing it and cutting some parts, and I'm like, it's garbage now. And so anyway, the funny thing is, so this is my version. I hope I make Ryan proud if he ever sees my version of the Colosseum. But the idea here was that postcard view that you always see the Colosseum that everyone's familiar with is kind of this view. And then as you walk around this way and you start to understand that it unveils itself and opens up. So you could see some of the woodwork at the top and then a cross-section of how the actual arches work and then the arena floor. And so one asks themselves, is this being shown in deterioration or in ruined state? Or is this trying to show the process of how it was constructed? Obviously, it was constructed in levels, not segments, but showing it in segments, it shows you all of the different interiors of what's going on. So that's really it for the Colosseum.
And it's a great build. And one thing I noticed is, obviously Lego is mostly square, and you've got kind of an oval circle shape going on here. How did that work in getting that design all figured out?
Okay, so that's a great question. The planning of this oval, and I should have probably called Ryan and asked him how he figured it out, because not all ovals are created equally. And I thought in my head, oh, it's an oval, I'll look at an egg, or a typical oval that's geometrically correct. Well, the Colosseum is not geometrically correct in terms of an oval. Its X and Y are not mathematically correct. Well, they are in their own right, but not as a typical oval. So for this one, all those segments, the width of the segment, were all based upon having a 6-wide arch, okay? So I had to use the 6-wide arch, and that established all of my segment widths, the segment combinations, because some are mirrors, some are asymmetrical, to figure out also the wedge openings or voids to minimize those. So that process was about a full month. And I literally have on my computer version 63.6A, B, C, and D, and this is E, after I mean, it was nightmare. It was actually, I thought it was going to be straightforward and easy, but figuring out how to get the segments right, yeah, maybe I'm just not good at it. Maybe someone could have done it in 3 tries, but it took me like 60 iterations to figure out. Yeah. Luckily, I was smart enough to determine very early on I only had to figure out a quarter of it and not the entire thing. Exactly. So that's the Colosseum.
Very cool. That's some dedication there. Thanks for telling us about that.
Thank you.